Hello everyone, my name is Hemu and today's we are going to discuss how to install Palo Alto Firewall in VMware Workstation, right? So we will basically do the installation of Palo Alto Firewall from scratch. Now let me tell you what are the things you need for this particular installation, right? So if you want to do the installation of Palo Alto Firewall in VMware, you need a VMware software, one thing, right? And that VMware software installation we have already seen. Second thing, after installation of VMware software, you need to create your NIC card, right? Because in your Palo Alto Firewall will create your inside interface, outside interface, DMZ interface, right? Your BPN interface, MPLS interface, right? So we have to create around 5 to 6 NIC cards, right? And that part we have already done. And the third thing which we need is your Palo Alto Firewall over image. Palo Alto Firewall OVA image. This is the image which we also need to basically do the Palo Alto Firewall installation. So these are the three things which we need for this particular installation. Okay, so guys, I have already downloaded the Palo Alto image. So right now I will show you the installation of Palo Alto 11.0.2, but this installation is valid for Palo Alto 9, Palo Alto 10, right? And your Palo Alto 10, Palo Alto 9, Palo Alto 11 and Palo Alto 11.0.2, because 11.0.2 is the latest version as of today, right? So what I will do, this is my VMware workstation. This is my Palo Alto OVA file. So guys, this is a OVA file, right? These are the pre-installed open virtualization format files basically. So what we used to do, they have all the component. These are the like a pre-built packages. Okay, so what you need to do, you just need to select this particular package and you have to right click into this package and you have to open with this VMware workstation. If you will not get your VMware workstation here, then you can select this open with and you have to click on VMware workstation. Once you will select that option, now it will basically open this particular pop-up here. Now in this pop-up, what is it trying to say? Here you need to basically change the name of your Palo Alto Firewall, like this name basically just to identify your device inside VMware. Okay, it's not a host name, just remember. And where you want to basically save your installed files, right? So what I will do, I would like to basically give the name here like Palo Alto Firewall 01. This is my first firewall running on 11.0.2 operating system. I'll just click on browse and I would like to store this particular things on my SSD drive. I have a virtual VMware folder here. In this VMware folder, what I'll make a new folder and I'll give the name Palo Alto 11.0.2. Palo Alto Firewall 01 11.0.2. This is the folder name. I will select this folder name. I will click on OK. You can go again into the same place, go for your SSD drive 2, go into your VMware folder and select this particular. Where is that folder which I have created? Wait a minute. Let me go into SSD1. Here I think I have created no SSD2. Looks like that folder is not created yet. So what I will select this, make a new folder and I'll give the name. This folder is Palo Alto Firewall 01 running 11.0.2. 2 version. Select this, open. Right now it is on E drive, virtual machine Palo Alto Firewall 11.0.2 means I have basically selected this particular folder in my SSD2 virtual machine, and this is the place, this is the folder which is created. Right now you can see I don't have anything here in this folder, right? Selected. Now I'll just click on import. As soon as this import will start, you will see some files here. Now you can see there are the 2 files has been created, right? And in some time you will see couple of more files, guys, as the process continue. Right now what we have to do, we have to wait here, we have to wait here to complete this particular process, and this will take around 2 minutes of time. Meanwhile, this particular thing is going on. Let me tell you. So guys, see, if you want to install Palo Alto 11 in your system, let me tell you, see, only you can install this particular 11 series. Like this is for Palo Alto 10 series, Palo Alto 11 series. Like if your system have around 16 GB of RAM, if your system have around 16 GB of RAM, then only you can install this Palo Alto 10 and 11. And because Palo Alto 10 and 11 needs around 8 GB of RAM to work properly. If you have a less RAM, like you have a 12 GB of RAM, in that case, I recommend you can basically use Palo Alto 9 version 9.1.x, this series, and give here around 5.5 GB of RAM. Palo Alto needs around 60 GB storage in your hard drive or in your SSD, and I will recommend, if you have a hard drive and SSD, install Palo Alto inside your SSD. Your system should have either i5 or more processor. Okay. Now you can see my Palo Alto has imported successfully. Now I go here into added virtual machine settings, and before that, if you will go here, now you can see couple of more files is created, right? Now you can go here. So by default, guys, in your Palo Alto Firewall, you can see it takes around 5.5 GB of RAM, 2 processors, 60 GB of hard drive, and you will get around 3 network adapters. These are the default setting, guys. But what I will do now, we will customize these settings. I will give around 16 GB of RAM, because I have enough RAM on my system. I have around 64 GB of RAM on my laptop. So I'm giving here 16 GB of RAM. And if you want to check what is the RAM and other thing, you can go into your task manager performance. You can able to see the details here. Like CPU, you will click on CPU, you will able to see I have around 6 core of CPU. And my system is a i7. It is having like i7 Intel Xeon processor. It has 6 cores and 12 logical processor inside the system, right? It has around 64 GB of RAM. And apart from that, it has 2 SSD drives. So what I will do, I'll go here and I will just give the processor here. Number of processor, I will give around 2, or I can put here like number of processor 2, number of core per processor is 2, hard disk is 60. So I will recommend you can basically expand the hard disk. I would like to go with 100 GB of hard drive. Click on expand. See, this disk was successfully expanded. Click on OK. Now you can go into, you see you have a 3 NIC card, right? Now what I will do, I'll just add couple of NIC cards here. Just clicking on this add button, we can able to add the NIC cards. So I have now 1, 2, I have around 7. Let me add 8. Let me add, yeah, 8 adapter is fine. Now, first adapter is the management interface, guys. So I'll just make this as a NAT adapter. Second adapter is your Ethernet 1x1. So I will just make this as a bridge. Next adapter I will make as a VMNet 1. Then VMNet 2. Then VMNet 3. Now VMNet 4. VMNet 5. VMNet 6. And VMNet 7. I have a NAT adapter, bridge, custom VMNet 1, VMNet 2, VMNet 3, VMNet 4, VMNet 5, VMNet 6, and VMNet 7. Okay. And if you want, you can add one more adapter. Click on add network adapter. And you can give this adapter as a VMNet 8. Either you can, if you will select NAT here, it will automatically become your VMNet 8. But if you want, you can go in custom and you can select from here as well. Okay, now we have a management interface, then Ethernet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? 1, 2, Ethernet 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 1x4, 1x5, 1x6, 1x7, 1x8, and 1x9, right? So these are the adapters I am having, right? Or what I'll recommend, do one thing. Let's do one thing. Let me just delete this 7. Okay, I will go with this. And instead of this VMNet 8, let me just select here NAT adapter. Okay, this looks good now. Click on OK. When you will click on OK, now you can see order may change, right? Order has been changed, right? Net bridge 1, then 5, 4, 2, 3, 6, right? What do you have to again click on edit? And what we have to put in a proper order again? Net bridge, then VMNet 1. Here you have to go with VMNet 2, VMNet 3, then 4, 5, 6, and last is your NAT adapter, right? And let me just write down here how these adapter looks like, guys. This adapter represents your management interface of Palo Alto Firewall, which is M0x0. This adapter representing the Ethernet 1x1 interface. This adapter representing Ethernet 1x2 interface. This adapter representing Ethernet 1x3, Ethernet 1x4, Ethernet 1x5, Ethernet 1x6, Ethernet 1x7, and the last one is Ethernet 1x8. I will show you these things again. Okay. Once you will done this, click on OK. Guys, do not power on. Do not power on here because there is a one more important setting which we need to change. Okay, because you know when somebody has created this particular OVA package, Palo Alto OVA package, that time he had just considered 3 adapters. This one, and this one. These are the 3 adapters only there, right? And these are the few additional adapter which we have added, right? So the type of these adapter right now is in BMX net 3. There's a one setting BMX net 3. So type of these adapter is correct, but the newly added adapter type is E1000, which is a problem because VMware supports BMX net 3 type of adapter. So we have to change the type of these adapters to E1000. Now how we can do that? Let's see. So to do that, you have to go to into the folder where you have basically did the installation. This is the folder. In this folder we have a file called VMware Virtual Machine Configuration. You can go here into and edit this file with Notepad++. Make sure you have the Notepad++, guys. You have to make sure you have the Notepad++, right? And I already have the Notepad++, so you can see this is my Notepad. Now if you will go down here a little bit, we have this Ethernet 0 virtual dev equals to BMXnet 3. You have to copy this BMXnet 3. And if you will highlight this BMXnet 3, you can see Ethernet 0, Ethernet 1, and Ethernet 2. All these three adapter type is BMXnet 3. If you will highlight this part, and you can go down, you can see 9, 8, 3, 4, 7, 5, right? Type is E1000. Now what we have to do, we have to replace this E1000. So what you can go here and you can just paste this. And instead of the E1000, just put BMXnet 3. And if you will know, if let's suppose you forget to do that, what will happen? Your device will keeps rebooting. So do not skip this particular step. It's the most important step. Just remember. Now highlight this and look for the type is everywhere is BMXnet 3 only, right? If you have done the settings correctly, you don't need to change here. Not required. Only this Ethernet 0 dot virtual dev equals to BMXnet 3, then Ethernet 1 and 2, then 3, 4, maybe here you will have a 9, whatever. Okay, it does not make any sense, right? Like we have a 3, then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can, it's no order does not matter. Maybe in your system the order is something different. Okay, now just click on save. Now close. Go here. Now you can open one more time. Open with VMware one more time and check the things again. Whatever changes we did, it they have applied or not, right? It is applied, because I have seen people are making mistakes. Now this, after doing this particular power, you have to do, now you have to go and you have to click on power on this virtual machine. Now you can see, you will get this message here, welcome to PanOS bootloader. Hit any key to start the auto boot, otherwise it will start automatically. So we will wait here. Now this particular installation will take around 5 minutes, guys. So we have to wait here. We have to wait till 5 minutes. We don't have any other options rather than waiting. Meanwhile, let me just tell you one more thing, guys. See, if you want to do the installation of PanOS 10 or 11, I'll highly recommend your laptop should have around 16 GB of RAM, and your laptop should be either i5 processor or like i7 processor or more. And you need to assign around 8 GB of RAM to your Palo Alto Firewall. Like in your case, you can keep the like hard disk 60 GB, does not matter. Keep the processor as it is, whatever it has chosen. Only just change the RAM and just add some network adapters like I did. Once you will add these network adapters, now we have to go to inside the VMware configuration file, and on that configuration file we have to change this type of these adapter, and we have to set as a BMXNet 3. And the people who is having less RAM, right, 8 GB of RAM or 12 GB of RAM, I will highly recommend you can use Palo Alto 9. Install Palo Alto 9. Okay, now you can see, guys, you can able to see this is your Ethernet adapter, and if you will observe its zero interface, it is like your management interface, and that interface have a default IP address which is 192.168.1.1. Okay, this is the default IP address in your management interface. Just remember. And guys, nowadays, whatever VM devices we are having, VM series firewalls, on these firewalls in the management interface, DSCP client option is enabled. Means DSCP is enabled. So if you have a DSCP server, in that case, this particular management interface will get the IP address from DSCP server. And in our case also, if you have observed an H0 interface, we have got the IP address which is 192.168.137.101. That's the IP address which I have got on that interface, if you have noticed. Okay, but in the hardware boxes, this is the IP address by default config available or configured in your Palo Alto management interface. Okay, so if now we will basically see how we can basically change this IP address and other things as well. Install the tools, click on OK. Now here you will get this particular option, VM login, and this time, guys, if you will trying login into this VM, so username is admin and password is also admin. See, login is not working, and now you can see login prompt has been changed. It has like from VM login to it has changed to the PAHDF login. So guys, just remember, if you want to log in into your Palo Alto firewall, username is admin and password is also admin. This is the default username and default password. And the default IP address in your Palo Alto firewall is 192.168.1.1. And in your interviews, people used to ask, default subnet mask is /24. Okay. And guys, by default, this IP address is available in your management interface of Palo Alto Firewall M0x0. Guys, by default, you can able to ping this management interface. You can able to SHS on the management interface IP, and you can also able to do the HTTPS, means you can able to access the firewall using HTTPS, because these three services by default enable in the management interface of your Palo Alto Firewall. So default username is admin, default password is admin. In the management interface, default IP address is 192.168.1.1. By default in Palo Alto VMs, DSCP option is enabled, DSCP client option is enabled. So if you have a DSCP server, that management interface get the IP address from DSCP automatically. In the management interface, ping, SHS and HTTPS services is enabled by default. And now, guys, you can see from this VM login, right? Your prompt has been changed to SDF. Then it has changed to PA VM login. So guys, this particular SDF state is a transient state, because you know your Palo Alto Firewall operating system, your PAN OS basically built on top of BSD Linux kernel. So your PAN OS is a BSD Linux, or I can say customized version of BSD Linux plus PAN application. So mean kernel, like in your Windows we have BIOS mode, right? So the kernel of this of your Palo Alto or your PanOS is the BSD Linux. So generally first your BSD Linux used to start. And guys, in your Linux environment, if you know, we have a daemons, right? We have a processes. So first of all, these particular process will start. Okay, this your kernel will load, and after that this pan application will start. And once pan application is started, all the processes like your authentication process, right? There is a one daemon called authority daemon, authentication process. This daemon will take care of all the authentication related tasks, right? So when I have logged in with username admin and password admin, and login has been failed, because that time this authority daemon is not running. And if this daemon is not running, then who will validate my credentials, right? There's no one to validate these credentials. So that is the reason when you will get this screen, guys. So always recommended, once you will get this first screen, always wait around 5 to 10 minutes. And after that only try to log in into your firewall. Otherwise your login will not work. Once your author daemon will start working, then after that only Palo Alto Firewall used to accept the connections. Now if you will, I will try with username admin, password admin. You can see I'll got the login. Now it is asking old password. So old password is also admin. New password I will set here admin at 123, admin at 123. Now let me show you what I did. When it has asked the first time, so I have entered here admin, which is a username. Password, so default username is admin and default password is also admin. Then old password, because old password is also admin, because we have not changed. Why it is giving you this enter old password? Because it just want us to change the password. Means when we will log in first time, that time only it will prompt us to change the default password, right? Then enter new password. So guys, new password I have entered here, admin with capital A at the rate 123. Confirm the password I have entered here in the same admin at the rate 123. Now this is the final password which I have configured after changing the password, guys. This is what I did. And you can see I'll got the access of my firewall. Right now you can see I have got the access of with, and you can see this is the symbol is there. This symbol denotes we are in the operational mode. We have logged in into the operational mode of firewall. If you want to do any type of configuration, you have to go into the configuration mode by running the command called config. Now if I will log in here and if you will run this command, so system info, the very first command. So system info. By issuing this command, what you will do, you will able to see the name of your Palo Alto firewall. Like this is the host name, this is the IP address in the management interface. Guys, I have told you 192.168.1 is a default IP address available in management interface. Then why this IP address is there? Because DSCP option is enabled. You can see this IP address I have received from the DSCP IP assignment by a DSCP, because my VMware Workstation acting as a DSCP server. Net mask is this, default gateway is this 192.168.137.2. Then we have a MAC address. This is the MAC address. Now, when at what time this MAC address will help? This MAC address will help. Let's suppose you have connected the Palo Alto Firewall management interface with your management switch, and you have asked your field engineer to connect this particular inter interface, like management interface, with the switch interface F0 by 0 by 1. Let's suppose this field engineer has connected that particular port with F0/0/2, right? So now how you will validate your field engineer, your site engineer has connected this particular interface into the correct port? So in that case, you have to log into the switch and you can needs to verify the MAC table, and that in that MAC table, you have to check your MAC address where you are learning. So that MAC address will help you a lot. You will get the time, uptime, family, model number, serial number, VM based MAC address, CPU ID, UUID, all these things here. Like software version, I'm having here 11.0.2. So all such kind of details you will get along with your dynamic updates like antivirus version, your application version, threats version, and all. Most important command. Apart from that, the second command which you may run in your environment, which is so management, so interface management. It will tell you the interface management interface detail like the IP address which is configured in the management interface, net mask, default gateway, MAC address of your management interface, how many bytes of packet you have received, how many bytes of packet you have transmitted, how many packet received, how many packet transmitted, all such kind of details. This is a really cool information, guys, which you need, right? Now, why I have shown you this command, because guys, this command will also tell you the serial number of this device. Right now, see here I have a serial number unknown because this is my VM series, but in the hardware box, you will get the serial number of your device. And that serial number we need to copy from this device, and we need the serial number if you want to register this device with the support portal. Okay. So this is how, guys, we have to do the installation. Now, let me do the configuration, means because we have to do some basic configuration in your Palo Alto Firewall, right? So what I will do, I'll go into the configuration mode. And the very first thing which I will change the host name. So I will run this command set device config system host name. I'll give the name Palo Alto Firewall 01. This is my first firewall. This is the command which we need to change the host name. Now I will run the second command set device config system domain name. I will change the domain name because every company has a some predefined some specific domain name, right? So let's suppose my company domain name is lab.local. Set device config system, press the question mark. These are the settings you can able to change from here. These are the settings which you can change from here. After changing domain name, I want to change my time zone. My time zone is Asia. So I'll set device config system time zone. I will type here Asia, Kolkata. Now, after doing the host name change, I have changed my time zone, right? I've configured the domain name. These three settings has been done. Now let me show you how we can do the configuration of the management interface IP, because we also need to change the IP address of your management interface, right? And guys, because right now in your management interface, if you remember, DHCP option is enabled, right? By default, DHCP client option is enabled. So we have to first disable this option. And if you want to disable this option, what you have to run this command. Set device config system type. You can see by default DHCP client is selected, right? So you have to type here static. Once you will change this option, now let's try to configure the IP address. So let's suppose, so what I will do, because my first adapter of this particular firewall is the net adapter. And if you remember, this net adapter having the IP address into this series 192.168.137.0/24. So let's suppose I want to configure here 192.168.137. Let's suppose I want to use here 2122. Let's suppose I will use here 23 IP address. net mask is 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway is 192.168.137.2. This is the setting. Let's suppose I want to configure. This is the IP address, and you can also configure the IP setting in similar fashion like I am doing here. Run this command: set device config system IP-address 192.168.137.23. Then configure the net mask. Let me connect my charger. Now let's configure net mask. 255.255.255.0. Configure the default gateway 192.168.137.2. So this is how we have to configure. Guys, I have just configured these settings just in 3 lines, even though I can combine like that as well. Set device config system IP-address 192.168.137.23, net mask 255.255.255.0, and default gateway 192.168.137.2. I can also able to configure DNS settings, servers, primary, press the question mark, 8.8.8.8, secondary 4.2.2.2. I can also able to configure NTP. Yeah, this is the one which we need to do. So either I can configure all this like your DNS settings, okay, your IP address, net mask, subnet mask just in one line. Set device config system DNS setting, you can configure one by one as well. Primary, and if you will press the tab, you will get what you have to do. 8.8.8.8. Secondary 4.2.2.2. Now set device config system NTP servers, primary NTP servers. Now here you have to configure your primary NTP server. Let me just configure 0.n. Or what I can do, let me just go into the Google and I will just try to find public NTP server India. These are the public NTP server India. 0.n.pool.ntp.org. 0.n.pool. So 0.n.pool.ntp.org. Authentication, you can type none. Now set device config system NTP servers, secondary NTP server, NTP server address 1.n.pool.ntp.org. Authentication type is none. If you will not define authentication type, it will take none by default. So this is how we can able to configure the NTP details, right? And if you want to see what you have configured, just go one step back by running this exit command. Run here one command like set CLI config output format in set, then type configure again, and you run this command. So device config system. This is the configuration which we did. We have configured the host name rights. You can able to see the host name detail. Type static, right? We have defined we want to do the static configuration. Time zone is Asia Kolkata. Host name is Palo Alto. Domain name, IP address, net mask, default gateway, DNS servers, NTP details, right? These are the some basic configuration which we need to do. Apart from that, guys, you have a hell lot of things here. Set, device config, system. You can press the question, you can do the question mark, and you can able to see there are so many things which you can able to control. And I have told you can just define service by default, as I have told you, your SHS, HTTPS, and SHS, HTTPS, and ping services enabled, right? This is the default setting in your management interface. But from here, you can, if you want to disable HTTP, or you want to basically disable HTTPS, ICMP, or you want to enable all of them, you can able to do that. Let's suppose what you have decided to enable HTTP access. Type here disable HTTP. What? No. If you will just disable HTTP, no, which means I want to enable the HTTP. So like that you can able to control, but I will highly recommend don't do these, like do not enable telnet, your HTTP, all these things in the production environment. Okay, once you done with that, now what do you have to do? Now we have to do the commit, because you know in Palo Alto Firewall, if you make any changes, they will not reflect right away. What do you have to issue? You have to issue a command called commit. Once you issue the command called commit, what will happen now? Because whenever you will do any type of configuration in your Palo Alto Firewall, that configuration will go into a file called candidate file. There is one file called candidate config file, and all your configuration, whatever you will make, it will store into the candidate config file. And this particular file available in the management plane of your firewall, and that particular file available in the SSD. When we will issue a command called commit, what will it will do? It will copy the candidate configuration file, and it will basically copy all the content into the running config file. This running configuration file available in your data plane. This is the actual running configuration, the active configuration of your device, which is a part of your data plane, and this particular information or this running configuration file available in your RAM. As soon as you can see commit has been completed, you can see name has been changed. Name has been changed. Now if I issue this command show system info, you can able to see. So guys, see this command is not working here. So what if you want to issue any command which is a operational mode command, you have to add a run keyword here. Run system, run so system info. You can able to see now IP address 192.160.137.23 is configured, right? And as I have mentioned, if I'll open my command prompt, I'll do ping 192.168.137.23. See, ping is working, right? Even though if I will type here SHS 192.168.137.23, SHS will also work. One minute. I will take the SHS not in this way. Admin at 192.168.137.23 and password is admin at 123. Now you can see SHS access also I got, because SSH service is by default enabled, right? See, I got the access, and I'll go into my browser and I'll go here and I will just type https://192.168.137.23, and I will get the access of this firewall via GUI as well, right? Now in this GUI, if I will type here admin and admin add 123, I can able to log in into this device successfully. You can see, and you remember if I run this command, this is the daemon who will basically take care of your authentication related logs basically, as I have told you. And if I will run this command in this way, you can able to see here is the all the authentication events. Somewhere here you will see. Okay, all these things I will use to cover on my live classes, guys. So you will, I just wanted to show you just for heads up. Now you can go here. I got the access of my firewall successfully. I don't want to modify anything. I'll directly go into my VM. Now you can see this is my Palo Alto VM in dashboard. Here you will able to see the journal information like show system info command. Whatever info we will get, you will also able to see all the information here as well. Monitor tab policy, network tab. I can go into network tab. These are the 9 interfaces I have on my firewall. One by one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And this is my device setting, guys. If you will go into this management interface, see whatever config changes we did, you can also able to do the changes from GUI. If you want to change the host name, you can change from here. Change the domain name. Like you can able to do all the changes from here as well. Time zone you can able to change, right? Whatever you want, you can able to do all these changes from here as well. Then you can go into this interface tab. From here you can able to do the changes of your management interface, IP address, netmask, default gateway, speed, MTU. These are the default services which are enabled as HTTP, SSS, and ping, right? So you can able to do all these changes from here as well. DNS related configuration you can able to do it from here. So let me show you. Host name, domain name, time zone you can able to do it from this general setting tab. In operational tab, in services, this is the service tab. From here you can able to change the DNS settings and your NTP settings. From here you can able to change the management related settings. So these are both. So I have explained you both the ways. Whatever suits you, you can able to do the things according to you. Now I'll just wanted to tell you one more thing. I'll go here. Let me just take the, so wanted to take the screenshot of it. Because this is the most important thing, guys. See, I did the lab setup. Now how I have did the lab setup. What is the meaning of each and every options, right? Like why I have added so many nick cards and other thing, right? These are the thing which I wanted to cover now. So I'll go into this settings tab and I'll just take the screenshot from here as well. Okay. So now what happens basically? Let me first give you the brief about it, what I did. So what I am having right now, if you have seen, I have my VMware, right? Sorry, 1 minute. I have to remove all these things. You can assume this is my main PC. This is my personal computer. Okay, now in this personal computer, what I have here, I am having the adapters, right? On my personal computer, I have my Wi-Fi adapter or my Ethernet adapter, right? Both things I am having here, Ethernet adapter. Or you can say these are my NIC card in my system, NIC. On this similar system, what I did, in the same system, what I did, I have basically installed the VMware Workstation, right? So let's suppose this is my VMware Workstation. Inside this system, this is my VMware Workstation, which I have installed. This is my VMware Workstation. In this VMware Workstation, if you remember what I have a couple of NIC cards, right? I have VMnet 8, right? I have my Ethernet adapter, like I have a VMnet 0 as well. Then I have a VMnet 1. I have VMnet 2. I have VMnet 3. I have VMnet 4. These are the, I have 5, 6, 7 as well. Like but I will just denote till 4 here because we just wanted to understand. Now, if you guys remember what I did, this VMnet 8 type is net and VMnet 0 type is bridge, which means what I did, I have basically created this bridging of VMnet 0 with my Wi-Fi adapter. Like Ethernet adapter, Wi-Fi adapter, both things are similar. You can able to change. I have created this bridging, right? And what I have done, I have configured this VMnet 8 as a net adapter. And I have also created a connection because you know this VMnet 0 or my Ethernet NIC card or my Wi-Fi NIC card I have shared with this VMnet 8, right? So it has also got somehow some type of connectivity from this Wi-Fi adapter. Let's deal with the Wi-Fi only, and where you can able to validate this setting. If you remember my first class, you will go into edit virtual machine editors on these settings, and here you can able to see all of them. Change settings, click on OK. This is what, see, VMnet 0, maybe in the initial time when I did the configuration, I have selected here Ethernet adapter, but right now I'm using my Wi-Fi. So right now my Wi-Fi adapter is selected, and we have VMnet 1, and this is my VMnet 8, which is a net adapter, right? This is the setting right now I'm having. Okay, now I'll go back here. So this is how bridge means. What do you mean by the bridge? Bridge means I have created some type of connection between my Wi-Fi adapter and my VMnet 0. So if anything which is a part of this VMnet 0, which means we have directly connected with our Wi-Fi adapter. That's the meaning of this part. Like we have my home router or my Wi-Fi router here, right? So this Wi-Fi router have a somehow connectivity, this adapter, back Wi-Fi connection. In similar fashion, that time this router got connected with this particular NIC card as well somehow via this Wi-Fi adapter, because it's a bridge like a switch. Okay. And the last thing which I did here, which is I have installed here Palo Alto VM. This is my Palo Alto VM. Now in this Palo Alto VM, what I did, Palo Alto VM has the management interface. And apart from this management interface, it has a Ethernet 1x1, Ethernet 1x2, Ethernet 1x3, Ethernet 1x4, Ethernet 1x5, 1x6, 1x7, 1x8, and Ethernet 1x9. These are the interfaces I have on my this particular VM. So what I did somehow, because see now the main thing come here. See, if you will go here, if you will go into these settings, if you will understood this part, guys, you will not face any challenge. See, the first adapter is your net, which means first adapter is representing the management interface. So here, this management interface connect, I have virtually connected with this VMnet 8 somehow. Somehow my VM management interface 0 has connected with VMnet 8. The second interface is bridge. Bridge means VMnet 0. So somehow this interface is representing. So this is management interface, then this is Ethernet 1x1, 1x2, 1x3. So Ethernet 1x1 is bridge. Bridge means I have done the connectivity of Ethernet 1x1 interface somehow with this VMnet 0. And through this VMnet 0, this particular this Ethernet 1x1 got connectivity with my Wi-Fi adapter or my Wi-Fi router. Let's suppose this is my Wi-Fi router here, or this is my home router, from where I'm getting the. Somehow this interface got connected with my home router. Then the second interface is VMnet 1, right? Which is Ethernet 1x2. So Ethernet 1x2, I have configured this. Ethernet 1x2 is your VMnet 1. Then Ethernet 1x3, Ethernet 1x4, Ethernet 1x5, 6, 7, like that I did the connectivity. So guys, that's how I have done the connectivity. That's how I have done the connectivity. Now let's think hypothetically. Let's suppose I have installed one more VM here. Let's suppose this is my test PC. This is my test PC. And let's suppose this test PC, I have basically put on VMnet 1. VMnet 1. Which means what I did, and let's suppose on this VMnet 1, which means now this test PC and your Palo Alto Firewall interface Ethernet 1x2 is a part of same network. And if I in this PC, if I will configure default gateway as a VMnet 1 interface IP address, which means this particular PC I have put behind my VM, behind the Ethernet 1x2 interface of Palo Alto Firewall. So guys, that's how the connectivity is. That's how the connectivity looks like in our setup right now. If I'll go down a little bit, now let me just show you the mapping here. What is the mapping here? Your Ethernet, this particular adapter, the very first adapter is representing the Palo Alto Firewall management interface. And this, what is the type of adapter? Net. Net means VMnet 8. And if you remember this VMnet 8 having the subnet which is 192.168.137.0, right? That is the reason on the management interface of firewall I have configured this IP address. Because this is like a network, right? This adapter you can think like a network, you can think like a VLAN. So that is the reason I've configured this IP address on my management to this CD. So this can able to connect with my VMnet 8 adapter. Second, bridge means the second adapter representing you Ethernet 1 by 1, then Ethernet 1 by 2, third one is Ethernet 1 by 2, fourth one is Ethernet 1 by 3, then Ethernet 1 by 4, Ethernet 1 by 5, Ethernet 1 by 6, Ethernet 1 by 7, then this particular thing is Ethernet 1 by 8. That's how my adapter looks like. Means this adapter 10 is type net, which means this Ethernet 1 by 3 will get the connectivity with VMnet 8. Network adapter 3 is VMnet 1, which means Ethernet 1 by 2 interface I have connected with this VMnet 1. Means on this interface now I have to configure the IP address from 10.1.1.0/24 range. That's how my connectivity looks like. Guys, for your understanding, let me just show you one more time how the connectivity looks like. One more time, because you know this part is bit important. So let me just repeat. So what I did, let me draw properly now. I have my this is my router R1. So this is my home router, or you can say home Wi-Fi router, simple word. Okay. And after that, this is my main PC. This is denoting my main system. My drawing is not too much good, guys. This is my main PC. In this main PC, what I have my NIC card. This is my Wi-Fi adapter. This is my Wi-Fi NIC card. And this is my Ethernet NIC card. And this router somehow have a connectivity with my Wi-Fi NIC card. Now this router have the IP address which is 192.168.1.1/24. Okay, this is the IP address available on this router. Now on my main PC, what I did, I have did the installation of VMware Workstation. So let's suppose this is my VMware Workstation. Now in this VMware Workstation, I have a couple of NIC cards. So let's suppose I have a very first NIC card, which is VMnet 8. Then VMnet 0, which is a bridge one. Then VMnet 1. Then VMnet 2. Then VMnet 3. Then VMnet 4. So I just mentioned VM4. Then VMnet 5. VMnet 6. Like that. Okay. And after that, what I did, I have also done the installation of my Palo Alto Firewall here. This is my Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, let's suppose This is my test PCVM. And let's suppose here I have my server 01. Let's suppose server 02 as well. This is my Windows machine. These are my two Linux machine, hypothetically. Now, this particular Palo Alto VM have couple of interface. It has a management 0x0 management interface, then Ethernet 1x1, Ethernet 1x2, Ethernet 1x1, Ethernet 1x2, then Ethernet 1x3, Ethernet 1x4, Ethernet 1x5, 1x6, 1x7, 1x8, and Ethernet 1x9. These are the interfaces of my Palo Alto. Now, what I did for this Palo Alto, what I did, guys, I have connected this management interface of Palo Alto Firewall with this VMnet 8 because my first adapter here, right, is the net type is net, which means it is VMnet 8. Ethernet 1x1 is bridge. Bridge means Ethernet 1 by Ethernet VMnet 0. I have connected this interface with VMnet 0. Next adapter is VMnet 1, then VMnet 2, then VMnet 3, then VMnet 4, then VMnet 5, then 6, like that. That's how my connectivity looks like. And guys, if you remember, my this VMnet 0 also have a somehow connectivity with my Wi-Fi NIC card. So guys, now because my Wi-Fi router is providing IP address in this range 192.168.1.1. So on the firewall interface, which is Ethernet 1x1, on the firewall Ethernet 1x interface, I will configure as 192.168.1.250/24. This is the IP address I'm going to configure, which means my Palo Alto Ethernet 1x1 interface I will directly connect with my home router, and this home router has a further connectivity with the internet. So my firewall will get the internet connection. Because see, this Wi-Fi NIC card is also sharing the net or sharing the internet with this VMnet 8. So this VMnet 8 also has a somehow connectivity with this Wi-Fi NIC card, but it is doing the net here. Means my management interface will also able to communicate via internet. So it will send the traffic to VMnet 8. VMnet 8 will forward this traffic to Wi-Fi router after doing the net. And after that, this traffic will go towards the internet service provider. Ethernet 1x2 interface, I will configure IP address here, which is 10.1.1.250/24. And this interface I will use as a inside interface. Ethernet 1x1 I will use as a outside interface. Then I have a Ethernet 1x3 interface as well, which has a connectivity with this VMnet 2. So Ethernet 1x3 I will use as a, I will configure IP address 10.2.2.250/24, and this interface is my DMZ interface. So this interface is a part of DMZ zone. Okay. Now, when I will install this test PC here, now in this test PC, what I will do in this test PC, in this particular test PC, I will basically put this test PC on VMnet 1. this test PC will get a connectivity with this VMnet one, and on this test PC I will configure IP address which is 10.1.1.70/24, and default gateway in this test PC is 10.1.1.250. Okay, on this server, these two servers I will put on my VMnet 2. And on this server, I will use the IP which is 10.2.2.101/24, 10.2.2.102/24, and default gateway into both of these servers is 10.2.2.250/24. And on this Palo Alto Firewall, I will configure one default route, and next hop is 192.168.1.1. So now what will happen? Let's suppose now, let's try to understand the traffic flow, guys. So let's suppose when this test PC wants to communicate with the Facebook over the internet, so what it will do, this test PC will check the routing table and he will find default gateway is 10.1.1.250. So it will forward this particular traffic towards VMnet 1 or via VMnet 1 towards the firewall interface Ethernet 1/2, because Ethernet 1/2 have IP address 10.1.1.250, which is the default gateway. Now this Palo Alto will check the routing table and it will find default route pointing towards 192.161.1. So what it will do, this particular traffic go like it will enter in enter Ethernet 1/2, and it will basically exit out through Ethernet 1/1. Now this Ethernet 1/1 forward this traffic towards VMnet 0, then towards your Wi-Fi NIC card. Through this Wi-Fi NIC card, it will go to your home router, and home router will forward this traffic towards the internet. So that's how the traffic flow, guys, for your test PC. Now let's suppose apart from this test PC, we do have a servers. And this server's default gateway is 10.2.2.250. So they will forward this traffic towards VMnet via VMnet 2 towards Ethernet 1/3 interface of firewall. Now it will check the internet, check the routing and internet available via this into Ethernet 1/1. So it will forward the traffic like this. So this is the traffic flow for this particular server. So guys, that's how the connectivity looks like in our lab according to my setup, according to my configuration, guys. Okay, this is how the lab looks like. And if you are doing this lab setup, just try, do not forget this particular thing. Remember how the connectivity is, how the connectivity is. Apart from this, like rest of the configuration in your Palo Alto, everything we will do in the live classes. Okay, so but this is the exact connectivity or my labs looks like. Now what I will do in the upcoming sessions, what I am going to do, I will do the installation of Linux servers, and I will put these Linux servers on VMnet 2. I will install one Windows 7 machine, and I will put this Windows 7 machine on VMnet 1. And this is the IP settings I will do. And my lab is up, and my lab is basically up and running according to my requirement. Or according to this particular diagram, my lab is created. Ethernet 1/1 got connected with the internet through Wi-Fi router. Ethernet 1/2, we have a one test PC here, we have a two servers, and we have a management interface of VMnet 8. So guys, this is all about the Palo Alto Firewall installation in VMware Workstation.